What's good, everyone? I'm the Shadow Teacher. Welcome to part 8 of What If Naruto Befriended Kurama as a Child. And if you enjoyed the video and want to see the next part, drop a like and subscribe and help the video reach the like goal. And if the video reaches the like goal of 200 likes, I'll drop part 9. I wanted to thank everyone for getting us to 4,000 subscribers. It means so much. You guys are so insane. Literally, I was at 3,000 subscribers like the day before, so thank you so much. It means so much. Also, shout out to Custody for making the thumbnail in the previous video. Thank you so much, bro. Also, as a reminder, check the Discord server, link in the description down below. And without any further ado, let's get into the recap.
Fire spreading all around my room. My world's so bright, it's hard to breathe, but that's alright. Hush.
In the previous parts, Naruto and Sasuke mended their bonds and became friends once again. And after that, they went on their separate ways to train on their 2-year time skip, while Naruto trained with Jiraiya and Kakashi trained with Sasuke. And it's actually not that simple. There was actually a lot more detail when it came to Sasuke and Naruto. So I do highly recommend checking out the previous parts to know what actually happened and get the full details of it. And when Naruto gets back to the village, instead of taking a belt test with Kakashi and Sakura, Naruto and Sasuke are going to have a sparring match where Tsunade will determine both of their growths throughout the 2-year time skip. And the teams that come out are pretty different than canon, so I suggest you checking out the previous video to see how that actually goes. And then Gaara gets captured by the Akatsuki just like in canon, and that's when the Sandals ask to leave for help to get their Kazekage back. And in response to help their ally, Tsunade is going to send Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto to get Gaara back. And they're also going to send Team Guy just like in canon to help them out. So they're going to go heal Kankuro and then fight 30% clones of Itachi and Kisame, which are obviously going to be, and that's where they will go to the Akatsuki hideout and meet up just like in canon. That's where we wrapped up in the previous episode. And now let's get into the current episode. So when Team Guy finally arrives, Naruto's gonna be super irritated because he really wanted to help Gaara, and Neji will use his Byakugan to locate the seals, so they're gonna undo those and then fight their clones just like they did in canon and eventually defeat them. And the team that stayed to infiltrate the Akatsuki hideout sees that the seal has been undone. They rush in only to find Gaara's limp body on the ground, and this is gonna enrage Naruto just like in canon, but this time he won't be influenced by the Nine Tails' rage. And Deidara will take Gaara's body and fly away just like in canon, and Naruto will pursue him, not blindly, but somewhat like a level head. He's still really angry, but Kurama makes sure that he keeps a level head. Meanwhile, Sasuke, Sakura, and Chiyo will stay back and fight Sasori of the Red Sand. And since Sasuke is there, this fight's gonna be way more one-sided. I would imagine that the Sharingan does really well against puppets. I mean, that just makes sense. So at the end, they will end up killing him, and they don't even have to talk no jutsu him at the end to kill him. I mean, they're just strong enough to kill him without the talk no jutsu. But then one more key difference is that Sakura is never going to mention Orochimaru and Sasuke at the end, because obviously Sasuke isn't with Orochimaru, so that means they're never going to get the intel about Tenchi Bridge. And that means that arc just completely doesn't happen. And now back to the fight between our two blonde friends. Naruto's gonna be pretty enraged at Deidara, so that means he's gonna completely cockslap Deidara because he goes straight to KCM2. He's just gonna be way more than fast enough to catch up with Deidara's flying hawk thingy, and he's just gonna completely make a bunch of shadow clones, and he can tank all of the small bombs that Deidara makes. I mean, because Uzumaki, and he just heals faster than does damage to him, to be honest. And slapping KCM2 on top of that just has a huge, tremendous healing factor. Also, guys, I apologize if you keep hearing this noise, because I'm chewing gum right now, so I'm sorry about that. But back to Naruto and Deidara. Naruto's gonna make so many shadow clones, he's gonna gangbang and pummel Deidara all the way to shit. And just as Naruto's gonna pummel him to death, Kurama steps in and says, "Stop, Naruto. If we keep him alive, we can get a lot of intel on him." Kurama's gonna go out of his way to state this because he knows it's beneficial for the leaf, but he also knows it's super beneficial for him and Naruto's own survival. After sitting down Deidara's limp and unconscious body, he's gonna go over to Gaara's body, check its pulse, and that's when the realization really dawned on him. He knew that Gaara was dead, just like in canon, but he was refusing to accept it, just like in canon. And once he finally puts his finger on Gaara's neck and feels no pulse, he freezes, collapses, his eyes go tiny, and he just lets out a scream of pain and agony as he starts crying, and tears will flow down his face for a good few minutes. He just sits there, refusing to accept reality, and then he suddenly feels a hand on his shoulder that tells him to move aside, and this hand is Granny Chiyo, who's about to use the reanimation jutsu to bring Gaara back to life. And him getting reanimated was pretty similar to canon. The whole village is going to be there, it's going to be the whole shebang. It's really wholesome, really heartwarming, and yeah, that's pretty much how it goes. Gaara gets celebrated and yada yada yada, he's back to life, back to being the Kazekage. After the mission ends and Gaara recovers, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura are gonna leave the village and go back to their village. And afterwards, they never meet Kabuto at Tenchi Bridge because they never get the Tenchi Bridge intel because they never talk no Jutsu Sasori and get the intel from him. And Tenchi Bridge arc never happening has quite a few repercussions. They never meet Sai or Yamato, who become like essential for quite a bit of arcs, I think, but they'll probably meet them later down the line, maybe in the war arc, maybe in a different mission. So Naruto and Sasuke will be doing some generic A or B rank missions in this free time, and when they aren't on missions, they're going to be training together, probably with Sakura as well. And Sakura's going to be in some training, but not all of it. It's probably going to be mostly Naruto and Sasuke together. And in this time, Naruto, who already started on his Rasen Shuriken, is going to perfect it in this timeline. And since he already has KCM 2, he won't need Sage 1 to use it, because obviously the KCM healing factor cancels out the damage it does to his arm the way Sage 1 does, but even better. And Sasuke seeing Naruto practice nature and form transformation, he will be inspired to do so as well. And this is when he starts developing the Chidori stream, which he did not get in this timeline, but he did get in canon. He won't have it mastered completely, but due to having the Sharingan and studying Naruto's Rasen Shuriken, he will have a pretty good portion of the Chidori stream mastered. And now to give y'all an update on Naruto's KCM. When he goes into KCM, he has the equivalent of 8.5 tails of chakra. So basically, if he uses KCM, it's the equivalent of him going into 8.5 tails chakra mode. Now you guys might be asking yourself, what happened to Danzo being interested in Naruto's KCM powers all the way back in the tuning exams when I had like 20 subscribers back then? Well, I didn't forget it, okay? I did remember saying that and how Danzo is definitely interested in Naruto's KCM powers and how he wants the power for himself. So when Naruto and Sasuke are training, they're going to be ambushed by multiple root members while Danzo watches from a safe distance, and both Naruto and Sasuke can sense these powerful ninja coming towards them, and they both go to their most powerful forms, Naruto being KCM and Sasuke being Curse Mark II. And remember, Naruto can sense the location of every single root member with this KCM on, as well as Danzo's location. You can definitely sense that Danzo is watching from a safe location. So when all the root ninja blitz Naruto, he'll protect himself and Sasuke with his 360-degree Gale Palm rotation. With that move, they have destroyed the element of surprise with the root ninja, and they just take him out easily, no sweat, because they're obviously in their most powerful forms, and even if they weren't, Naruto and Sasuke would probably take them on anyways. And then Danzo thinks that he's sneaky, he's gonna try hopping under the trees and putting Naruto under Kodo Matsukami by surprise, but Naruto can sense Danzo, and he can use her Rasengan to just destroy Danzo, but he never sees what's underneath Danzo's eyes because he never had the chance to even open the bandages. But Danzo does already have his arm bandages already opened because he does know that he might need it for Izanagi. And Naruto didn't kill Danzo, but did knock him unconscious. And the reason he's unconscious is because I don't think a base Rasengan to the gut is killing anyone, okay? Sasuke sees all the Sharingan and gets really triggered, but that's when Danzo's unconscious body disappears. Naruto and Sasuke are both shocked and they jump back into defensive position. And then Sasuke whispers to Naruto, "Hey Naruto, those bandages covering his eyes are like Kakashi's. He has a Sharingan under there, and I can recognize his chakra. I just can't place where I recognize it from. It's very old." And then Naruto's like, "Yeah, I can sense it too." And then he adds that it's a very powerful Sharingan. I can feel it. And from Sasuke's tone, Naruto can tell that Sasuke isn't too happy about seeing the arm and sensing the eyes. Naruto was trying to console Sasuke and tell him to keep it cool during the battle, and that they could question Danzo later. And Sasuke isn't happy about this, but he knows that Naruto is right. And they go on to just kill Danzo over and over again, knowing that he's gonna reappear. And the reason Danzo never is able to pull off Kodo Matsukami is because Naruto's sensory abilities and Sasuke's sensory abilities and speed are just way too fast for Danzo. Danzo is pretty fodder. Like, without Izanagi, he's basically trash. Sasuke would have killed him in a matter of 30 seconds if it wasn't for Izanagi in canon. And guys, remember, Naruto in KCM 1 was light speed. He's stronger than KCM 1. He's at 8.5 tails of KCM 2, so he is really, really strong. He's really, really fast. He's faster than light speed because he outsped the Raikage in KCM 1, and the Raikage was stated to be light speed. So Naruto can kill him even before he takes his bandages off. He does not even have a chance to put Naruto under Kodo Matsukami. And during the fight, Sasuke, being the smart lad that he is, figures out the connection between Danzo reviving and the Sharingan on his arm. You can tell that every time Danzo revives, the Sharingan on his arm close one by one. And when Danzo's on 0 eyes left, he yells to Naruto, "Don't kill him." So then Naruto does his reverse tetragram stealing blast and does his stealing jutsu on Danzo, making him incapable of moving and freezing him in place. And once Danzo is immobile, Naruto will walk towards him and he reaches for the bandages, and then he says, "Let's see what you're hiding under there, Danzo." But Sasuke quickly grabs his wrist and says, "You don't know what kind of trap would be under there, Naruto. It could be a trap or a genjutsu. You gotta be more careful with these things. You yourself said it was a very powerful Sharingan, so be careful next time, Naruto. You can't be so careless." And then Naruto's like, "Oh yeah, sorry about that." And then he tells Sasuke to put Danzo in a mind-reading genjutsu to get intel on why Danzo was attacking him. So then Sasuke stares into Danzo's singular eye as he goes through Danzo's intel, and he sees why Danzo attacked them, but he also sees something else, and what he saw will shock him. As that came out of my mouth, it sounded like a BuzzFeed headline. It was literally the first thing I thought of. But back to Sasuke. Sasuke will start having tears well up in his eyes, and the pattern in his Sharingan changes. He yells out in emotional agony, and in an instant, Sasuke's sword is through Danzo's chest. Then Sasuke falls to his knees and sobs quietly. Then Naruto says, "The hell did you do that for? We could have gotten intel from him." And in his belly, Kurama just face palms. And then Sasuke turns to him slowly and says, "Shut up, Baka," through tears, and his voice is breaking up. And that's when Naruto realizes that he fucked up. And he's like, "Oh shit, I'm so sorry, Sasuke. What happened? What did you see?" Sasuke doesn't really feel like talking or anything. He's really like emotional and stuff. And Naruto's like, "You know what, man? You can talk to me. It's okay. I'm your best friend." And then Sasuke explains what happened. He explained about Itachi because he trusts Naruto. Naruto's probably one of the only people he trusts, along with like Akashi. And as Sasuke is explaining, he will see the pattern in Sasuke's eyes change, and he will know that this is the Mangekyo Sharingan, because obviously Kurama will tell him stories about Madara and the Mangekyo Sharingan, and the Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan, and the Uchiha Cycle of Hatred, or Curse of Hatred, I mean. And I don't think I mentioned this in the past yet. Kurama does tell him lots of stories about like history and stuff like that. He does tell him about the Uchiha and the Senju Cycle of Hatred, their like cyclical battles, their rivalry. He doesn't go into deep like his own backstory. He doesn't talk about the Sage of Six Paths or the 10 Tails per se. He doesn't know about his own like personal backstory. But Naruto does know a lot about Shinobi Creed and Shinobi history, because obviously he heard it from Kurama, and Kurama lived through all of it. Right now Naruto is really worried about his best friend. He does know that Sasuke could go down this cycle of hatred. I mean, like, he does have the Mangekyo Sharingan. He might want revenge on the Leaf Village or Itachi, because right now he could want revenge on Itachi for lying to him all these years, because Itachi's still alive, and he's much different than from his canon timeline. So he really needs to keep Sasuke off this like path of hatred that he knows that Itachi might have went on. And Sasuke says that he wants to be alone for now, and Naruto really wants to respect his wishes, because he knows that Sasuke is going through a really hard time. He also wants to keep an eye on Sasuke to make sure that he doesn't go like kill the elders or do anything else that's like super duper rash. Alright everyone, I'm gonna wrap the video up there, guys. I hope you all enjoyed the video, had a great time. Thank you for spending 10 minutes of your day and spending it with me. It really means a lot. And remember to tune in next time to see what path Sasuke goes down. And remember, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe, hit the like goal. And without further ado, I'm the Shadow Sage, signing out. Remember to stay safe and have a great day.